Welcome to Betting Weekly Tennis Live, brought to you in association with Bet Rivers. I'm Rory Jiwani. With me is Tim Dennis, and it's day 3 of the French Open at Roland Garros. We have a number of in-play first-round matches to look at, and we'll be looking forward to some of tomorrow's second-round encounters. Shock of the day so far, perhaps Cam Norrie knocking out Daniel Medvedev in 5 sets. Got to give out a shout to Dustin Fox, who gave over 35.5 games in that match as part of his daily double yesterday. That came in, but a real bad beat for Dustin, as he also went for Alexander Zverev, minus 8.5 games against Lerner Tien. 8 games was the difference there. So that just missed out, that daily double. Another surprise today, although in unfortunate circumstances, Ethan Quinn through to round 2. Against Grigor Dimitrov, the Bulgarian retired at 2 sets to 1 up. That was a blow to one bettor who had $10,000 on Dimitrov to win in play at plus 163. Should say the biggest winning bet of the day, a $19,125 wager on Alexander Bublik on the money line at minus 335 to beat James Duckworth. Also successful was one bettor who had $10,000 on Coco Gauff at minus 770 to beat Olivia Gadecki. She did so very comfortably indeed. Right now, Jack Draper wasn't having things his own way against Matteo Bellucci. The 5th seed dropped the first set 6-3 to the Italian, who was $13 to win the match at the start. But Draper took the second 6-1. He's just taken the third. Tim, you've been watching this one. How's it looking for the Briton?
Hi, Rory. Yeah, good to see you. Looking better now than it did at the start of the match. He come out and it was a bit of a slow start for Jack, but yeah, he's well on top now, and he looks to be. I'd imagine he'll take this set fairly comfortably, perhaps by the one break, 6-4 maybe. But he looks to be on progress to get through to the next round as we stand.
I think John McEnroe was saying that he felt Draper could go a long way in this tournament. He's done well on clay. I mean, he did very well reached the final in Madrid. Do you think he's got prospects of going deep in this tournament?
Certainly prospects, yeah. Like we've spoken about a few times, we thought maybe he's just going to be that sort of grass court player, or maybe those fast hard courts with that big serve he's got. But like we spoke about again, with his fitness and the way he's obviously clearly worked, he's managed to get himself in shape for these clay court swings, and with his fitness improving, he could be a danger to all here. Obviously, that big left-hand serve on a clay court served out wide could be difficult to go against. So yeah. Why wouldn't you see him going far? I think I'd agree with McEnroe. He knows a bit.
He certainly does. Also going on right now, Felix Auger-Aliassime up against Matteo Arnaldi. I've got to say, I thought this one might go the distance, but the Canadian 2 sets to love up, although Arnaldi I think he's a break up in the third. 3-1 up in the third is Arnaldi. Arnaldi now plus 380 to win that match, and Auger-Aliassime minus 590. Got a very interesting match about to get underway in the men's singles between Hubert Hurkacz and the Brazilian sensation João Fonseca. Fonseca's the narrow pre-match favourite at minus 137. Hurkacz plus 110. Hurkacz, who lost in the final at the weekend to Novak Djokovic in Geneva. Tim, you've got some thoughts on this match.
On the Hurkacz match, yeah. Well, just initially when the lines came out, I'm not sure whether there's been any movement in the last sort of 12 hours or so. But initially I thought Hurkacz was a bit of value. Fonseca, obviously, he's the up and comer and the big star of the future. But Hurkacz is coming back to some solid form. Obviously, some say he probably could have won that final. He was up a break in the final set against Djokovic, and then Djokovic just saw it out the stronger. But yeah, I just thought at the lines as they were, he was probably. I thought I'd actually have it the other way around. So Hurkacz for me would be a bit of value there. I thought the others should be flipped.
Well, the bettors have agreed with you. You said there had been some money. We had one bet of $4,000 on Hurkacz at plus 114. And as I look at it now, Hurkacz is now into plus 105 and Fonseca minus 129. So that you know, the odds are getting closer, as you suggest. The bettors generally have been going for her catch. 70% of the cash on the money line and 81% of the tickets are for the big serving pole. On the spread, 70% of the money for Fonseca, 73% of the tickets on her catch. And overs has been popular on totals games, 74% of the cash and 82% of the tickets. That match about to get underway shortly. On the women's side, one of the bets I put up on Saturday with Nigel Seeley on our Betting Weekly WTA show has just started. I picked Solana Sierra to beat Yulia Putintseva, who's been horribly out of form lately. And she was plus 205 when I made that selection. She went off at about plus 140. So we certainly got the value there. The Bet Rivers bettors thought Putintseva had drifted to a backable price because 90% of the money was on Putintseva and 69% of the tickets on the Kazakhstani player. That's on the money line. But Sierra's made a good start, broke almost immediately. She's leading 3-1 in the first set. She's up 30-15 on serve. She's minus 205 now to win that match with Putintseva plus 1.5. But I'm not going to be counting any chickens just yet. An intriguing contest between Alla Kalinskaya and Marie Bauskova are about to get underway, both with fitness clouds over them coming into this. At the moment, Kalinskaya minus 159, Bauskova plus 128. Of course, you can bet in play on that and all of the matches in progress and watch the action streamed live with Bet Rivers. Tim, just any thoughts about the conditions or any general observations that you have from Roland Garros so far this year?
Well, I think the first thing to look at is the weather's fairly dull, isn't it? And that's probably making the conditions a little bit slower than perhaps some players would certainly like. Maybe people like Draper and Hurkacz maybe later on. Obviously still fairly chilly. You can see a lot of players almost playing in those sort of long sleeve shirts, certainly the females. I think Raducanu was one yesterday, for example. So yes, slow still and waiting for that weather to warm up. And I think it's certainly if you're playing at night, I think there's probably a little bit of a difference there too. I thought when I watched a bit of the Sinner game last night, visually it looked slower than certainly the daytime. So yeah, but that few degrees colder and those sort of damper conditions, that's certainly playing its part. So hopefully things will warm up and it'll get a little bit more pleasurable for everyone.
Let's look ahead to tomorrow's action. As I say, round 2 getting underway. We'll start with the men's singles. Matteo Gigante of Italy takes on Stefanos Tsitsipas. Both men came through their openers in straight sets. Gigante against Lebanon's Ben Hassan, while Tsitsipas got past Tomas Martin Echeverry of Argentina. Tsitsipas is a heavy minus $10 favourite here. Gigante plus 650. Spread 7.5 games. Totals at 33.5. What's your view of this one, Tim? I mean, it should be comfortable for the Greeks, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I sort of read it as quite comfortable there, and but yeah, rather than get involved at the minus 1,000, which is clearly short, I think perhaps some of the side markets might offer a little bit of value. These two are clearly sort of at different ends of the spectrum as far as talent goes, and with Tsitsipas being clearly the better. I think Tsitsipas, he lost his serve only once in that first round match, and winning 63% of his points on his second serve, which is clearly pretty good stats. And I think if you look at the kind of players Gigante's played so far, he's actually come through qualifying. He was actually a lucky loser because I think in qualifying he lost to, I think, the Sarandula brother. Is that the way I've got it?
Juan Martin, yeah?
That's correct. Yeah, and if you look at the guys he's played, his average ranking of the player he's played, including qualifying, is 171. When you think he's going to be facing someone like Tsitsipas here, it's going to be completely different. Tsitsipas obviously goes well here. He's the only players he's lost to in his past 2 visits. One of those visits is actually the Olympic Games, so not both French Opens, but both in the quarterfinals. He's only been beaten by Djokovic and Alcaraz in his past 2 visits here. Gigante beat Benjamin Hassan in his first round. But yeah, I think he's ranked 220 in the world. So it kind of shows you that the level he's jumping up to here. And I thought the bit of value I found in one of the side markets was Gigante to win a set. I put down as that being a no, was -107, rather than looking at the totals or the handicaps, which sometimes you can come a little bit unstuck in. Yeah, the value for me landed in that side market. I thought that was quite a fair price there, just slightly a shade of odds on at the minus money, but still a bet that I thought was very fair and would make up half of my day's best bets tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, that seems quite a big price for Gigante not to win a set. I guess there's a difference. Obviously, we're in a slam where it's best of 5 as opposed to best of 3, because I guess if that was a best of 3, it would be much shorter, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a couple of ways of playing around with it. You can look at the total games, which I think is 33.5, or the handicaps there, or you can look at total games for Gigante at I think they're 13.5. That's -108. But yeah, I thought the easiest way to get with him was him not to win a set, and I thought -107 was more than fair.
So that's the first part of your daily double. The second part comes in the next match we're going to look at. Lorenzo Musetti against Danielle Elahi Galan. Now, I saw Musetti against Yannick Hanfmann, and I was blown away. He is so talented. He's got every shot in the book. He looks, I mean, he's ranked 7 in the world, but to me, he looked a real star in the making. Galan edged out home wildcard Valentin Royer in round 1. He's outside the top 100, having been as high as 56 a couple of years back. Musetti's well, even more prohibitively priced than Tsitsipas, -$20 favorite. Galan is $10.50. Spread 9.5 games, totals 29.5. Are we looking at the same sort of logic for you here, Tim?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, some guys will be looking at that screen and thinking, how can he find an even shorter price favourite than -1,000? But I found one here with Musetti at -2,000. Like you said, I was also impressed with him in his last round. He started fairly solid. Hanfmann gave him a game for a set and a half, but then Musetti showed his class. And I think Musetti is probably a better player now, as good as he's ever been, probably. And he actually beat Galan in exactly the same spot as this time last year. He beat him in straight sets. I think Galan played 4.5 hours on Monday, and he's actually been fairly fortunate because he's already a lucky loser. He's already lost in qualifying. Sorry, I got mixed up there. He was the one that lost to Juan Manuel Cerandulo in qualifying. So he's lucky to be here, and having played such a war, I think he'll 4.5 hours in his first round, he'll do well to stick with Musetti here. He might, like Hanfmann did, keep it fairly close for a set if he's lucky. But I thought Musetti's shafts would show. Yeah, the bet I like there, that was the under 29.5 total games at -107. I thought, yeah, if he was lucky to keep the 6-4 first set, but my guess is Musetti will steamroll him come the end of it. I think in the game they actually played last year, I think the game spread was, I think it was 30. So obviously tomorrow that would lose, but I see this Musetti as a better player than he was this time last year. And with Galan having played that 4.5 hour war on Monday, I thought he'd do well to keep tabs with Musetti. And I thought, yeah, -107 there was again more than fair. So yeah, those would be the two for me tomorrow. That'd be my strongest bets looking through the cards.
So that's under 29.5 games in the second game on your screen there between Musetti and Elahi Galan. That's -107. And Gigante not to win a set against Tsitsipas. That's also -107. And the daily double pays +276. So good luck if you get on board with that one. We're going to look at one more men's match tomorrow. Sorry, Tim, you were going to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, another thing, Galan's, he's never took a set off Musetti in the times they've played, and I think I'd be very surprised if he started doing it tomorrow.
So there you go. One more men's match to look at tomorrow between Fabian Marozsan and defending champion Carlos Alcaraz. We found a match with an even shorter priced favourite in this one. 2 previous meetings, Marozsan won the first in spectacular fashion in Rome 2 years ago. Alcaraz exacted revenge last year at Indian Wells. Both defeated Italian opposition in straight sets in round 1. Alcaraz is minus $100 to win this. Marozsan $17. Those odds strike me as a little insulting, given the Hungarians beaten Alcaraz before. The spread is 8.5 games. Totals 29.5. Tim, do you have a view on this one? I think Alcaraz will win, but I think those odds are a bit. I don't think they're quite right.
Yeah, like you say, I think Alcaraz will probably win, but I think Marozsan's probably a better player than he's given credit for there. I think we know he's a big game player. I assume, I haven't seen the schedule yet, but I assume this will be on Chatrier tomorrow. Marozsan's got the power to hit through these conditions. I don't think he's got the quality to hit through it for a best of 5 set match, but I could see him picking up a few games as well. I did have a look earlier. I've lost it on my screen there, but I was looking at the total games for Marozsan on his own, and I think I saw him earlier at about perhaps even 10.5. I think they might have been. I'll have to double check that, but yeah, I thought that was fair when I saw. But yeah, I think he's a better player than the odds are showing in there, aren't they? So certainly a great game to be watching anyway. And if you go into that match, you're gonna see some quality tennis.
Yeah, he's an entertaining player to watch. The bet I think you're looking at, total games won by Fabian Marozsan over 10.5 is minus 115. Under 10.5 is minus 110.
I thought 10.5 was maybe a game or two short. So if I had a lean in that game, I thought Marozsan might be able to collect more than 10 games tomorrow.
Okay, so that's Marozsan against Alcaraz. Just to bring you up to date on some of the action, Putintseva's got the break back against Solana Sierra, and it's pick'em at the moment. Sierra leads 4-3. Putintseva is serving, and well, she's just won the first couple of points of that game on serve, so she's now gone favourite. Putintseva minus 121, Sierra minus 108. That is one of the women's matches in action. Elise Mertens is having a bit of a tough time against Lois Boisson, French wildcard. Mertens in that third quarter, which looks very, very open. We've already lost Maria Sakkari today from that third quarter. Mertens dropped the first set. She won the second. It's on serve in the third, with Boisson serving first. The French woman plus 240, Mertens minus 315 to progress there. And just to try and bring you up to date with some of the men's actions, Jack Draper has just broken Matteo Bellucci to lead 3-2 in the fourth set. So he's closing in on victory there. Draper, you can't get a bet on him now. It's too short. Bellucci now $180 to win that match. Felix Auger-Aliassime has been pegged back by Matteo Arnaldi, the Italian, 5-2 up in the third set. Auger-Aliassime took the first 2 sets. Arnaldi now plus 370 to win the match. Auger-Aliassime minus 590. And they're just about to get underway. Hubert Hurkacz and João Fonseca. Hurkacz plus 112, because I think Fonseca's serving first. Fonseca minus 148 in that one. Let's have a look at tomorrow's women's second round matches. First up, we've got Danielle Collins against Olga Danilovic. And Collins was made to work by Jodie Burrage in round 1, whereas Danilovic made fairly light work of Leylah Fernandez. The pair met twice last year, both on clay. Collins won their meeting in Madrid in 3 sets before the Serbian left-hander won here at Roland Garros. That was also in 3 sets. I think this will be tight again, but I really like Danilovic here. Clay is her best surface. She beat the American here 12 months ago, and judging by their respective first-round performances, looks to be in better form. So I was pretty keen on Danilovic on the money line at +117. Tim, any view on this one?
Yeah, I certainly can put you off, Rory. When I had a look at the stats for the games earlier, obviously the 2 games they've played is 1 each. But Danilovic actually leads the service points 1 and return points 1. She won that in both those games last 2 games they've played, but very tight, only 102 to 98 and 101 to 99. So very little in it. But the fact she's leading them and she's not the favourite, I think probably makes her a bit of value there. They both played 3-set wars. I think the first game they had was, I think it was 33 games for 2 hours 45 minutes. They played 216 points, 8 breaks to serve in Madrid last year. And then when they played, I think it was in the same stage they're at now in Paris, 2 hours 35 minutes for 212 points with the 9 breaks of serve. So you can see this going a long way. And I think with those stats there and just those service points, return points, one just shaded by Danilovic in both games, you would probably think those odds should be the other way around, maybe just slightly, or perhaps I pick them. So the fact she's plus money, I think she's probably almost an automatic play there, isn't she? Obviously, if it's kind of one of those games, if you're on the spreads, I don't know what the spreads are with total points for the games, but that could be quite interesting to look at. But yeah, it looks like it's going to go long unless history is going to change what it's been doing in the past. Collins looked okay yesterday, didn't she? Beating Jodie Burrage. And Danilovic, we know, has been in good form on the clay, having made that final, losing to Elena Svitolina. So it looks all set for another long one.
Yeah, Danilovic 2-1 at +370 looks a little bit tempting there. Moving on to one of the matches of the day, 2 Grand Slam winners. Emma Raducanu taking on 4-time French Open champion Iga Swiatek. Raducanu struggled a bit against Jinyu Wang in round 1. Swiatek came past Rebecca Sramkova in straight sets. Swiatek has won all 5 of their previous meetings without dropping a set. They last met at the Australian Open and the Pole won 6-1, 6-love. Swiatek -$10 to win this, Raducanu +650. The spread 6.5 games and totals 18.5 games. Do we think it's going to be more of the same here, Tim?
Yeah, you'd be surprised if it wasn't. These outsiders in these women's matches are seeming to be certainly very hard to come by. At least this tournament's the way it started anyway. I think the only shock, certainly the biggest shock, has been Kostyuk losing yesterday so far, and it would be another shock if Raducanu could win here. I think the one thing I did think might be in her favour, the 5 times she's played Iga Swiatek, the best she's represented herself has come on clay in Stuttgart both times. I think she lost 7-6, 6-3 last year and 6-4, 6-4 in 2022. The time she's played Iga on a hard court, she's been routed, which you'd think it would be the other way around with her being a US Open champion and generally better on the hard courts and Iga being better on the clay. So she'll probably take a bit of heart from that, I'd imagine, if she can look to do what she's done in Stuttgart. Obviously, that was indoor clay, and this is in Iga's favourite court. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. And I think maybe if you're looking at total games there, perhaps Iga's not at her best, and maybe Raducanu's on the up again now.
Yeah, so maybe a lean there for over 18.5 games at -113. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And I think with Swiatek, you can and even with Raducanu, you can usually tell from quite early on how things are going to pan out with Swiatek.
Yeah, I was surprised when I looked at that. It was just interesting that she's caused the most problems on clay, which was a surprise to me when I saw that. So maybe an angle in there.
So that's Raducanu, Swiatek, and the world #1 is in action again tomorrow. Aryna Sabalenka up against Teichmann. One previous meeting in Doha in 2022 where Sabalenka dropped just 3 games. I reckon it could be very similar this time around after she smashed Kamila Rakimova for the loss of just 1 game. You can see the odds. Sabalenka -$100 to win this. The spread 7.5 games. and total games 16.5. 7.5 games, you see Sabalenka minus 7.5 games is minus 110. But I thought we could perhaps be a little bit more adventurous and go Sabalenka minus 8.5 games at plus 170. That would be my way of looking at it. Tim, do you have a view on this one? I think it's going to be pretty comfortable for the world number one.
Yeah, I think if she's in the same form she was on Monday, that's exactly, or Sunday, sorry, that's exactly what it's going to be. She was dominant in that, and you can't imagine Teichmann causing her many problems. When I looked at some of the sub markets, I think the Teichmann's total games was sort of 4.5. I think under or over, probably about right. Do I want to be getting involved on somebody to win under 4.5 games? Probably not, even against someone like Sabalenka. So I saw her winning fairly comfortably, but probably not a betting game for me, just a game to watch as far as the future concerned.
So there you go. That's our look at tomorrow's action. Let's get you back up to date with what's happening in play. And Yulia Putintseva has made a bit of a comeback against Solana Sierra, unfortunately for me. She's 5-4 up, and now she's going to be serving for the first set. Putintseva minus 295, Sierra plus 215. Elise Mertens, a breakdown in the final set against Lois Boisson, the French wildcard. So we could have another upset in the third quarter. In play, Boisson minus 227 and Mertens plus 175. Well, that's just shortened up because Mertens might be about to bring up a break point on the Boisson serve. Boisson leading 3-1 in the third, but it's 15-30. Mertens trying to come back into that one. On the men's side, Draper's almost home and hosed, I think, Tim?
Yeah, I think he's just won. Just shaking hands now.
Okay.
So I did see a comment in one of the boxes there about this Arnaldi Felix Auger-Aliassime game, whether Arnaldi could get back into it, and he's serving for the set now, but I think he had a set point, but Felix is it's currently juice, so Felix is still an odds-on favourite in that game, but if he can break here and hold, it'll go to 5-all, but. If Arnaldi can get in, then that might be a game you want to be getting involved in for a fourth set if it gets that far.
Yep, Arnaldi is Auger-Aliassime. He's got break point. He's got advantage on the Arnaldi serve. Arnaldi currently $5 to win that match. He's just saved the break point. Back to juice. Arnaldi $4. Auger-Aliassime minus 625. And João Fonseca had an early break point against Hubert Hurkacz, but the pole saved it, probably with an ace, as he normally does. Hurkacz plus 114 to win that match after holding serve. Fonseca minus 148. That one in action. And of course, you can watch all the action and bet in play with Bet Rivers. I think that's nearly it from us. Tim, if you could just give us a recap of your daily double.
Yeah, just to look through that double. Yeah, Stefanos Tsitsipas against Gigante. My bet in that was Gigante not to win a set. So that was minus 107. Gigante to win a set would be no. And in the second game there, yeah, Lorenzo Musetti under 29.5 total games at minus 107. So yeah, both matches minus 107. I think the double parlay plays plus 276. And yeah, I'm fairly confident those are good selections there tomorrow. So, well, we'll soon see in 24 hours' time. But yeah, confident at the moment anyway.
I'm not sure if it's down to you, Tim, but that Gigante price has just gone into minus 113. So everyone's following you in.
Hopefully they got the 107 anyway.
Yeah, hopefully
before
they
it
did.
goes too short.
Did
you see any of Djokovic this afternoon, Rory?
I did not. But he was fairly comfortable. I watched him on Sunday beat Hurkacz, and that was, I mean, Hurkacz just couldn't get over the line in that one. I mean, he was playing, I think even Djokovic admitted afterwards, Hurkacz was playing the better tennis for probably a set and a half, or the best part of 2 sets. And Djokovic just somehow managed to get it done. What did you make of Djokovic earlier?
Yeah, just did what he had to do, I think. Fairly comfortable in the end straight sets, which you would have expected. And he'll just be trying to build his way into the tournament. I think what I sort of half forgot really was how good he was in Australia at the start of the year. And obviously we've spoke about these Grand Slams being the be all and end all for him, and that's clearly the case. But yeah, he may well have made the final there if he was fit. I think he had to retire after losing a first set tiebreak to Alex Zverev there. So yeah, we all know his history and we all know what he's all about. So yeah, like I'm too scared to write him off, shall we say, Rory? And looking at that previous match we spoke about, Arnaldi has taken that third set. So Auger-Aliassime, we know he's probably not the best closer of matches. So that could certainly be going 5. And if you got it behind Arnaldi here, you wouldn't be at all surprised if he took it to a 5th.
Yeah, and I should have, of course, have said Djokovic won that title on Saturday, his 100th ATP title, because on Sunday, of course, he was at Rafael Nadal's farewell on court Philippe Chatrier, which was a very nice occasion. Just to bring you up to date quickly, Sierra's got the break back, so we're back in business, everyone. Sierra 5-all in that first set against Yulia Putintseva, the Argentine, plus 108, Putintseva minus 141. And Mertens is in a lot of trouble against Lois Boisson. She's 1-4 down and 30 love on serve to the Belgian, but she's plus 220 to win. Boisson minus 286 to pull off the upset. So that's it from us at Betting Weekly Tennis Live. Tim, thank you very much for your daily double and for your wise words as always.
Just thank me if it wins, Roy. Wait to see tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, you've been very good on the daily double, so we're hoping you can do the business again. Thanks again to you. And Mitch Michaels and Nigel Seeley are back tomorrow with the latest from Roland Garros. Thanks to you for watching this edition of Betting Weekly Tennis Live, and we'll see you again soon.